Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Shantae back with another episode of Chatting with Shantae. How in the world are y'all doing? Me, I am doing amazing. So this is a little bit different because I don't have my whole setup going on. I ain't got my microphone or anything like that. I was just sitting here kind of reflecting on something that happened a couple weeks ago, and I shared this on my Facebook and things like that. But I kind of wanted to make a video about it just because. Listen, it was pretty emotional, but in a very great way. And I just kind of want to, share this with others. So as y'all can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about this exciting and crazy way God spoke to me a couple weeks ago. Okay. So, well, actually more than a couple weeks ago, but whatever. So for those who don't know, I'm 25. Okay. So I'm gonna start there. For those of us in our 20s, we, especially that 25 mark, we all, well, not all of us, but most of us can kind of relate to that feeling of feeling stuck and feeling like, that constant battle of, I'm doing amazing. Yes. Okay. I got my whole life ahead of me. I'm doing so well. I ain't got to stress about nothing right now. I have my whole life figured out and things like that. Then that other part, damn, I'm 25. I feel like I should be progressing much further than I'm, where I'm at now. I'm stuck, I'm not doing enough. I'm not, I'm young, but I still got to grind hard so that way I can relax later, right? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. So the night before all these series of events happened, I was, having my regular talk with God, the night before going to bed. And I was just straight up asking him, Lord, am I doing enough? Like, am I on the right track? Like, is there something I'm supposed to be doing? Because I'm really feeling stuck. Like, one minute I feel like I'm doing great. Then the next minute I feel like, okay, are you waiting on me to do something? Because sometimes, God be waiting on us to make the first move or make a move. He be talking to us. And you guys, I just be letting him know, listen, Lord, I'm not trying to be disobedient, but Lord, I just really need you to tell me. Like, I just be sometimes wishing God can just sit right here at the table and be like, listen, baby girl, this is what you need to do. But we know that's not how that works. So I was just having one of those moments like, Lord, just help me get out of this rut, but please tell me what it is I need to do. I need you to tell me if I'm doing everything I need to be doing right now, if there's something else I should be doing. Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to stay away from? Like, what is it, So I asked him before going to bed, I was like, Lord, if there's anything you need to tell me or anything that I should know or anything, can you please just show me signs or confirm it in ways that I will understand? Now, see, when you ask God to show you stuff, right? When you want him to confirm things and show you signs, he'll do it. Oh, the signs will be everywhere, okay? And you'll miss them. Either one, because you truly just don't know what that means, or you're not recognizing it, or whatever the case is, you're kind of oblivious to it, or you notice it, but you're like, I don't know if that was a sign, or no, he can't be talking to me. Like, that prayer of, Lord, let me know if this man ain't for me. And he flat out tells you he ain't the one. You're just like, no, I don't think you heard me, so I'm gonna ask again, So it could be one of those situations. But so I've learned to ask him, you got to be specific in what you manifest for, what you pray for, what you ask for, right? So I asked him, Lord, just confirm things, show me signs in ways that I will understand. Let's go. So the next day I'm getting ready for work. Now I have the Bible app on my phone. I also have my physical Bible that I read, with my daily Bible reads and stuff like that. So this how I should have knew the day was going to be different, because even though I have the Bible app on my phone, and I do read it every day, I'm not the best at, waking up in the morning and not checking my phone. Okay. I know a lot of us can attest to that. I roll over, I check Instagram to see what's going on. I check to see Twitter to see if anything happened while I was asleep. Social media consumes us in that way. So I'm answering emails and text messages and things like that, Don't really have that moment with God and to wake myself up. And then I find myself rushing to get to work. Oops. But this day, I woke up on time, a little bit early actually, gave my time to stretch and meditate, talk to God and thank him for waking me up and thanking him for the day, setting the tone for the day, right? So then I didn't check my social media or anything just yet. I grabbed my phone, opened the Bible app, and this is the first thing. Read Matthew 6:25. Now I had finished reading Matthew couple months ago. I take a book of the Bible each month, or however long it takes me, and I read a chapter or two a day. That's my own personal little Bible challenge. And then I also have daily Bible readings that I found on Facebook. They have different months with different themes of whatever, so they give you a verse a day to read. So I had finished Matthew a couple months ago. Loved it. So when I saw Matthew 6:25 was the verse for that day, I was like, ooh, okay. So Matthew 6:25, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life. Okay. Now, go back to the night before. I was talking about, Lord, am I okay? Like, what's my future looking like? Like, am I good? Am I doing what I need to do? Right? Worrying about my life. And asked him to send me signs and confirm things that I will understand. Okay. So read Matthew 6:25, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life. I was like, okay. It's like it clicked, but it didn't register that, okay, girl, he's, confirming this for you. But I was like, okay, all right. I felt good about it, but I was like, okay. So I get up, checking social media now, getting ready for work, head to work, having a good day. I'm just feeling good, Get to work, and I have this brief meeting, about things. And then I was talking to my general manager. And before I talked to her, I was putting my stuff back up, where my stuff was. And I had this thought. I was like, should I ask her this? Should I? No, let me not. Nah. And then a voice told me, ask her. So listen, that voice, honey, it tells you. So I walked in her office, and I, was asking. I was like, hey, can I ask you something real quick? And she was like, yeah, what's up? I said, now she's about 3 years older than me. I think she's 28, so 3 years. So she understands where I'm coming from, right? So I asked her, do you ever feel like you're not doing enough? And she was like, all the time. And before I could say anything else, the tears just flooding out of my eyes. I had no intention on crying. Now, I did have an emotional moment, at work because, I was talking about something else. But I had no intention on crying, okay, in her office and just having this moment. So, we closed the door, and I sat and talked with her, and I was just explaining how I just feel like I'm not doing enough. I just, I see other people doing this and that, and stuff, And so she was like, look, you're 25, okay? Enjoy your life. I know it's hard. It's easier said than done. But listen, you got a podcast. You got a show. You're talking to these celebrities. You're doing big things. And I'm pretty sure those are things that you prayed about, and stuff like that. And now you're living in it. Okay. I know it's not, your life isn't how you want it to be just yet. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, enjoy the moment. Okay. You're doing fine. You're doing great. All right. And I felt so good after that. I just felt refreshed. I got that cry out that I was holding back from the night before. And, I just needed to hear that from someone else, I guess. And it's so funny what she said was, how the things I'm doing now are probably things that I've, been wanting to do and pray for. We all get in that situation, okay? I hate to say all because I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm pretty sure we all can relate to, we be praying for something. We'll be praying for moments, and then we live then we get it. Okay, God answers the prayers. He gives it to us. And we still think about, okay, what's next? We never, okay, let me not speak for everybody else. I have a hard time of just basking in that moment. I'm like, okay, this is great, but what's next? What's the bigger thing? Let me dream bigger. Let me think of what's the next big thing I should be doing. And not realizing, girl, just a few months ago or last year, you were praying to do the things you're doing, right? Like your own show, being in magazines, writing for magazines, talking to different influencers, and working with companies as a brand ambassador. Things that I'm doing right now that I'm so very thankful for. Those are things I was hoping for, writing down, manifesting, praying about. And now that I'm in that moment, it's not that I take it for granted. It's just my mind constantly wonders, okay, what's the next big thing? And you never enjoy the moment. So that's what she told me. So I get back to work and everything's good. I feel much better. I'm like, okay. Still not registering that, okay, girl, that's another piece of the puzzle of your confirmation, right? Right. So then I got back home, and like I said, I have my physical Bible where I, read a chapter a day in the book I'm reading, and my Facebook Bible challenge thing. So read my chapter. And then I have a women's study Bible. So, you know, with the study Bibles, they have the actual Bible verses and passages. And then they also have like little anecdotes or footnotes and stuff like that with extra information, you know, kind of explaining what you just read or, you know, stuff like that. So the little footnote for this one was being depressed and what Bible verses help with depression and what that really means, and, you know, how it all ties into, you know, your connection with God and things like that. So I was like, okay, I read a couple of those verses. I was like, okay. Now, I've had moments where I just felt so low, okay, felt low, emotional, just letting myself get the best of myself, if that makes sense, letting my mind just really wander and take me, not to a dark place, but kind of like a low moment, you know. But I've never wanted to self-diagnose myself. I said that quite a few times. I've never wanted to say I'm depressed or, yeah, I went through a depression. I realize now I did, you know, and I'm able to say it now. But I was never the type to want to self-diagnose myself because I never wanted to disrespect anybody who had been clinically diagnosed with depression or bipolar disorder or anything like that, because I just want to be mindful and thoughtful and respectful to those in that community. So I never want to say, yes, I was depressed. Because for some people, being depressed and things like that, they think it's a joke. They think it's very light. You know, they think any slight inconvenience, yes, I'm depressed. No, I was never that person. Like, there are people who take medications and have to talk to someone all the time, you know? So I've never wanted to be that person to just want to fit in because, people think being depressed is like a personality trait or something like that, you know? And it's just like, you think anyone who is seriously depressed wanted to be depressed? Like, that's what they want. Yes, I want to be known as that depressed girl. What? No. So I fought hard about not wanting to self-diagnose myself. I'm still not, but I realized I was showing signs of being depressed. But yeah, so I was like, okay, all right, being depressed, all right. Then, and again, still not clicking that God is showing me all these things. He's lining up everything because I asked him to. So then some hours after that, I got cleaned up, ate, relaxed now. Y'all know how much I love you some Tab, right? My auntie Tab. Listen, that's my auntie, okay? Period. She had made a video. Now, she could have talked about anything, okay? She could have cooked a mushroom, a piece of jackfruit, a chickpea. She could have did anything. She could have talked about her husband, her daddy. She could have talked about anything, anybody, right? She made this video talking about being depressed. And, you know, how it's easier said than done to get yourself out of it, but to take the proper steps, small steps and things like that to try to overcome it. Okay, pray through it if you are someone who prays, you know. And then she talked about cleaning up your space, mentally and physically. A big sign of depression. Now, people think being depressed is just like walking around mopey, all sad and stuff like that. No, someone can be smiling from ear to ear, and then the next moment, you know, and you would never know. So a big sign of depression is just kind of letting your space, mentally and physically, you know, kind of get cluttered. Because you're just, you know, and I've had those moments. And then I got myself out of it and then gave my, you know, apartment a good deep cleaning and stuff like that. But that's a sign, okay? So when she was talking about that, I was like, okay. And it was clicking a little bit still, but not just full, girl. They're letting, like, God's telling you something. So she made that video about, you know, how important it is to, you know, clean up your space mentally, physically, take it one day at a time. She went through a depression herself and she talked about that. So again, she could have talked about anything else on that day, okay? But that was her video for that day, or one of her videos. So then later on in that evening, okay, I'm in bed and I like to have my TV on for like background noise. I'll be on my phone, or I'll be drawing something or writing something or typing something, but I like to have my TV on for background noise. Not necessarily paying attention to what's being said, but, you know, I like to have a little background noise. So one of my fave YouTubers that I've been watching for quite some time is For It's Rocks. Hey, Auntie Rocks. And now this is when the BET Awards had come on. So this is more than a couple weeks ago, like a few weeks back or whatever. I had no idea listen, side note, the BET Awards suck. Okay, now, listen, the last good BET Awards was 2015 when Janet Kane made her return, when Bad Boy had their reunion, when Tamar and K. Michelle had their reunion. Like, you know, I didn't even know the BET Awards happened until they happened, child. I was like, oh, okay. So that's besides the point. But she was doing her BET Awards recap, I believe. And that whole time I was listening, but I wasn't paying attention. I was like doing other things, getting distracted. So, but again, I just had it on for background noise. Anyway, so, excuse me, this was towards the end of the video, I believe, or it was one part during the video, and she was talking about this young lady. I cannot remember who it is, and I'm so very sorry. But she was, you know, in her 20s, either 20 or early 20s, and she either committed suicide or she attempted to. Again, I'm so very sorry, I can't remember those details, but I just know she was a young 20-something-year-old woman who either succeeded in committing suicide or she attempted. But when she said that, it, you know, made me look up, and I was watching, and she told the story, and then she went on to say, those of you in your 20s, I'm 25, okay, if you forgot. She said, those of you in your 20s, y'all have so much life, okay, ahead of you. Have fun, be carefree, but be responsible, okay? Don't take yourself so seriously. Don't be too hard on yourself, all right? You're doing fine, okay? That was the message. And that was the final thing that happened that night. And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. Like, I've been hearing this message all day. I've been receiving this message all day. Didn't realize it in those moments until that video, and it really clicked. The light bulb, you really could see the light bulb click in my head, like, oh my God. I've been getting, and then everything started to replay, because I didn't forget any of those things that happened. Like, they were still in my mind, but it just didn't, I didn't group them together as, okay, this is all coming together for something. I just, you know, and I replayed all those moments I just told y'all about, and I was like, all these have that same underlining topic, that same thing. Girl, and from the very first verse, you know, do not worry about your life, and to the last piece of thing I just told y'all, you're doing fine. Do not worry about your life at this, you are doing fine. And everything that happened in between throughout the day, all were pieces of that confirmation puzzle that I asked God to send me. And he sent them in ways that I would understand. Through social media, through my favorite YouTubers, influencers, and then of course reading, because I love to read. So that was just mind-blowing. I'm still mind-blown to this day. And I say all that to say, if you are someone like me, you're a creator, or you are in this field, or just in life in general, and you feel like you're stuck, or you feel like, you know, God may not be hearing you, or you feel like you're not doing enough, you are, okay? But talk to him. Just talk to him and ask him to send you signs and confirmations in ways you will understand. Because just the way he sent those confirmations to me through those different avenues, he could have sent them to somebody else and they probably wouldn't have, you know, it wouldn't have phased them one way or the other. But if he were to send them in another way that that person would understand, then, you know, so we have our own unique ways of talking to God and receiving his word and his message. And that just blew my mind when I just sat in the bed, and after she had ended her video and that was the last thing, I was like, I was stuck like Chuck. Do you understand? I was like, and again, just started replaying all those things that happened. Like, I've been receiving and getting the same message all day. Had an emotional moment afterwards, okay, but good emotions, like, Lord, thank you. And it made me feel good, because that was his way of letting me know, you're doing good. You're on the right track. Quit rushing stuff. Enjoy the moment, okay? And just keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking to me. And, you know, when it's time for the bigger, the better, the greater, then just, you know, keep doing what you're doing and you're going to get there. So that just made me feel so much better, because that let me know, okay, girl, you said you was good, honey. You're good. All right. All these things you're worrying about, you've been praying about. Listen, girl, You're getting him. He knows the desires of everyone's hearts, okay? I don't care what you've done in the past. I don't care what kind of person you think you are, what you're not, whatever, okay? God loves us all, and he's always there, okay? It's us who be rocking back and forth. He's always there, all right? He never switches, okay? He's the realest, period. But, but no, seriously, that day, and he's done that before, but that, like, it's just crazy. Like, imagine asking God for something, right? Imagine asking him to send you confirmations just to reassure you that you're on the right path and things like that. And then the whole day after that, not even a week later, not months, no, the next day, from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, and he's just confirming it back to back to back in different ways. You can't, like, no one can really tell me that God ain't the bomb. Like, he's just the bomb. Like, just thinking about it. And then there's other things that he's done and confirmed for me. It's just like, and when you act, now you gotta be specific though, okay? You got to be specific, child. Because, honey, if you don't ask him for specific signs, now he'll send you signs. But when you ask for specific signs and he gives you those specific signs and confirmation, it's like, now wait a minute. Okay, it's amazing. Oh my goodness. Walking with God on my own has been the best thing ever. Okay? And you're probably like, what? Walking God? I don't want to make this too long, but I'm talking about God. So listen, if you want to go, I love you. But I'm gonna talk. So real quick, I grew up in church, okay, with my mama, my grandmother, but I call her mama, my mommy, take us to church and things like that. Baptist church was good. So grew up in church ever since I was a little girl. So when you are someone who grew up in church and people are taking you and telling you that you should read the Bible and telling you, teaching you how to pray and stuff like that, it becomes a routine. It becomes a part of your life because other people were telling you to do so, basically. It's not until you discover God for yourself and you let him work through you and use you and things like that for yourself on purpose, not because someone told you to do it, not because someone said, hey, you should read this or you should do that, you should pray like this. No, it's when you decide one day, okay? And there's no age, Now, I've always believed in God, talked to God, and things like that, but now I feel like it's with more intent. I'm being more intentional. I'm being more purposeful, and it's because I'm doing it on my own. So my faith has never decreased or wavered or anything. If anything, it's increasing even more. I don't know how to write it. It's just growing and growing each day. So when you walk with God on your own, you make that conscious decision. Okay, I want to learn more about God for myself. I want to read his word for myself. I want to dig deeper into this relationship that we have for myself. And when you're serious about it, and when you are showing up every day and you're being yourself and you're just laying it out all on the table, because listen, you can't really hide nothing from God, because he made you and he already knew what you was going to be doing at this time. So it really ain't no reason to lie. But it's just really amazing when you decide for yourself to say, you know what, I want to discover God for myself. And when you show up every day, now I'm not saying you're going to read the Bible every single day. I've been doing good so far, but, there's going to be days where you don't feel like reading the Bible, or you don't feel like, having that good old hearty conversation with him. But, and he knows, he knows. But when you still show up, honey, I'm just saying. And it's so funny because some months ago, if you know Auntie Tab, you know her story and how, she hears from God and how he was telling her to do a whole bunch of stuff and things like that. Right. So this was right before I was going into my walk with God. And I had asked her, I messaged her. I was like, Auntie Tab, I feel like God's talking to me in a different way than how he has before. And I'm just not sure if it's him or if it's just me thinking I'm talking to him, or, stuff like that. So how do I know it's him? And she told me. She wrote me and she told me. And, what she said was, it's a small voice, it's a push, but you'll know. So I read that, I was like, a push, a small voice, what? I said, okay. Okay. And then I started, reading my Bible more and all that other type of stuff, and really being intentional and things like that, and just not habitually praying, but actually really talking to him and just showing up. Honey, she was right. Okay, she was right. And then, my mom would tell me the same thing as well. But again, it wasn't until I went into it, for myself, by myself, that I actually understood what they were talking about. And it's just like, well, y'all done changed me. So I'm just amazed. Now I still have my moments where I feel like, dang, I'm not really doing, and I still get in those moments, but then I read my little post that I made that broke down everything that had happened, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I still keep doing what I gotta do, keep working and things like that. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. I don't know if this made sense. I don't know if I started going all over the place towards the end, but I wasn't really actually planning on making this video. I was just sitting here, reading over the posts and stuff like that, and heard a voice and, said to make this a video. So hey y'all, I'm here. But I hope, if anyone is feeling down and out, that they, find some sort of relief or good spirits with this video. But yeah, so usually I'm way more like prepared and stuff like that, but here I am just showing up. But I love y'all so very much. Thank y'all for the love and the support, and I will catch y'all on the next episode, which will probably be, probably be either tonight or tomorrow, because y'all know the Shy came back on. And listen, this episode had me like, that's how it had me. So I will catch y'all in the next video. I love y'all. Bye.